Are you ready for the greatest crossover in cinematography history? Dango Duo cross the super best friends cross Northern Lion.
Oh, it's everything I've ever wanted.
Yeah,
hey, Northern Lion, how's it go? Oh, you don't
Hey, everybody.
actually here. Hey, super best friend. Oh, they're not here either.
So it's just like every other party we host. Hey,
nobody shows that. That's a joke because this house will not fit
this
anyone.
House, yeah. See, so it's working as intended,
I suppose.
So, welcome to what may be the greatest or the stupidest idea we have ever come up with.
You're the judge of that.
No, don't judge it. Just like, comment, and subscribe.
Really helps us out.
Hey there. You may be wondering why a new episode of the SUFFERCAST is up, and it's because David Cage has decided
a new game.
Has decided that there had to be a new episode of the SUFFERCAST.
Because it's David Cage.
It's David Cage and Quantic Dream.
It's Mr. Cage himself.
Yep. Oh, I can't do a terrible French accent. Omelette du fromage.
David Cage here. I wanted to make a story about androids. It's not about race. It's about androids.
The metaphor, you see.
There is no metaphor.
This story is about nothing.
Yeah.
This story is not about androids. It's about people.
It's about people. It's about family.
Fuck, I was wondering how long I was gonna get to. It's about family.
It's about family.
Hey there, welcome back to the SUFFERCAST. Dango Duo, semi-irregular...
Mostly irregular podcast.
Podcast where we suffer so you don't have to, but in this case you probably already have, or you must have already heard.
Like, listen, we wanted to play this game. It just came out at a really bad time.
It came out at the worst possible time because it came out while we were at Phantom, or leaving Phantom for Phantom.
And while the middle of, like, all of our other LPs are being recorded, so there's no slot.
But we want to talk about this because...
But we wanted to watch the videos.
Yeah, and also because, like, Kitty and I are always very involved whenever a David Cage game comes out.
Yeah, I loved Heavy Rain.
Quotation fingers. Oh, no, yeah. No, see, I love Beyond Two Souls. I love watching people play it and watch everyone outstandingly point out how terrible that game is.
Except poor Yogscast Hannah.
Yeah,
who loves them.
Well, taste,
Bless her, but...
Hey,
She cried apparently twice during...
That's silly.
During
that's
Detroit.
Silly.
We haven't gotten to him
Listen,
yet, I'm sure.
The thing you need to understand right now is that if your avatar is like Kara or Marcus
or Connor,
or you really, really like this game and David Cage is writing to the point of not being able to look at them critically, get the fuck out.
Sorry.
As you know...
It's called the SUFFERCAST.
It's called the SUFFERCAST. You should already know that we are not coming in here to tell you about how... We're going to tell you... There are some good things in here.
Oh, certainly.
But the reality is that Kitty and I, we love storytelling, and we always analyze it. We point out what works in it and what it doesn't work in it. And David Cage's
writing and style
tends to be always an example on what not to do.
Oh yeah, how to make an interesting idea or an interesting scene just not work.
Yeah, how to trip and how to stick your foot in your mouth every single time. Welcome back to the David Cage experience. Hey, welcome in Omicron / Detroit / where the heck was Heavy Rain in? Chicago?
Something like that. It wasn't actually Chicago, but...
And of course, Beyond Two Souls was set in
Anywhere USA.
Well, I always thought it was like clearly supposed to be like a metropolitan place.
I thought it was like an East Coast, but then she's in like the Navajo, so listen. She walked all that way.
What about the underwater Chinese ghost base?
We don't talk about the underwater made up country ghost base.
Yeah, of totally not Chinastan.
Yeah.
So, hey there, we have to just come out and say a couple of things really quickly.
My goodness, Wind.
First off, if you're a really big fan of David Cage games and you can't look at them critically, get out. Secondly, we're going to be talking in great detail about Detroit Become Human. We're not playing the game right now. And I guess we should say this right now because someone's going to be like, your opinion is invalidated because you didn't play this movie that has prompts in it.
You're not wrong, I suppose. Well, yes, you're wrong, but...
you're wrong. David Cage games are very little about the gameplay. They're all about the story. And
there's very little that actually changes through your game.
Yeah, I know. There's actually even less than before, because before you could fail prompts, now whenever you stop doing the prompt, your characters just stop moving.
Yeah.
So, as the best friend said, it's just an FMV sequence with prompts on it.
Where you occasionally have to push a button to keep it going.
Yeah, so honestly, listen, and also this game is way more linear than it's ever been before, because no matter what you do, you end up at certain points in the story, and the game even tells you that.
Yeah, so, which I appreciate. No more like, oh, the story is how you make it out to be. I'm glad we've dropped that. Yeah, Telltale has told us that there is no more. Yeah, the illusion of choice is dead.
Yeah. I mean, was it ever really alive? Clementine will remember that. No, I love spoilers for Walking Dead Season 1 at the count of 3, 2, 1. Remember that, I think his name was Carl, the asshole guy.
Kenny?
No, the other asshole guy. The guy that you drop a brick on. I love that, like, 5 minutes before you drop the brick on his face, he's like, oh, he will remember that. I'm like, no, he won't.
Don't worry,
he will not remember that when I drop this brick on his face.
He'll remember it for about 5 more seconds.
Yeah, so...
End of spoilers.
Yeah. Listen, that game came out in 2012.
Ew.
Yeah, no, I was doing a video where I was like, this... it was the video where I was editing Writing Live, and I'm like, this writing is from 2012. In case you're wondering, 2012 is the year in which FTL came out. The first Avengers movie came out. Taylor Swift's... what was the album with freaking... oh my god. Red? Is it Red?
Maybe.
Well, yeah, the one that had that one
Target
song.
exclusive?
No, okay, listen. Other things that came out, The Fault in Our Stars, the book came out in that year. I know, but it's a point of reference. You know, we were back there, we existed. Unless you were Charles and you were 13 years old. Oh my god, it's true!
Oh no.
Oh my god, we love using our friend Charles as a way to measure years.
How old we are.
Hey there, everybody. We're going to be spoiling everything.
Everything that we have watched.
In case you're wondering where we are right now, we are watching 2 Let's Plays. We're watching Northern Lion play, and we're watching the Super Best Friends play.
And this is also why I was going to bring this up, but we kind of diverged from this point.
I'm sorry.
No worries. If you're like, but you guys aren't playing it. But we're watching 2 separate playthroughs, and they, so far, have done most things fairly differently. Not everything, but...
And as we mentioned previously, like the reality, the game tells you how linear it is. Like, the story is gonna push you in one direction and you can't change it. The only thing you're changing is the window dressing as you jump through said windows, basically.
Basically, yeah. So it's not like we're
or in the case of David Cage's writing, you get to choose the hat that the shark is wearing when you jump it.
Fair.
We're gonna be talking about spoilers regarding all of the David Cage games because spoilers, they're all bad. Heavy Rain is the least bad of them. But
watching it again recently proved that even it has not stood the test of time.
No, it's not as bad as Beyond Two Souls. Beyond Two Souls is actually garbage.
Shit ass bad.
And it's funny because it's so bad that like Detroit cannot possibly be as bad as Beyond Two Souls because the original release of Beyond Two Souls had the game in not chronological order,
which is bonkers and BS.
Which has one of my favorite things in which you have a heartbreaking scene. Well, there's 2 scenes. There's a scene in which you jump forward into the future and your character's about to commit suicide and you don't know why.
Yeah.
You have no idea. And it's just one of those like, this is a scene that should have weight, because, suicide is not just a thing you just throw away. David! The other one is like your character has to say, the main character of Jody says goodbye to her 2 basically adoptive parents,
and it's
her 2 dads.
Supposed to be very sad and.
And on the following scene, we go back to her being young and still having those 2 people in her life.
It's like it didn't matter.
It actually felt like it didn't fucking matter.
So I wrote down. Northern Lion is currently ahead in the playthroughs that we're watching. So we just finished chapter 11, I believe.
We're on episode 6. We just watched episode 6 of his Let's Play and episode 2 of The Best Friends. We also watched the 1-hour preview that they did, where they did the closed envelope.
And they just finished the chapter 5, so.
Yeah, I don't know if the numbering is correct, but we have a list of all the chapters, and we're going to go step by step. In case you're wondering, though, really quickly, David Cage is a French developer, and he is the writer and director the lead of Quantic Dream. The games that he has made involve, chronologically, Omicron, the Nomad Soul, which may be the worst. It's Without question, it's the worst one. It's actually the worst game that he's ever written. It's actually a piece of garbage, and he somehow managed to get David Bowie to write the soundtrack for that and appear as not 1 but 2 characters.
Bless David Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie didn't know. David Bowie, like he had no idea. Like that game is so bad. The Best Friends Let's Play, which I have watched, by the way. Like, I love that, like, at one point, not to bring up the Co-optional podcast, but, like, Matt got to be on the Co-optional podcast, and Jesse loves Omicron, but he's never finished it. And Matt was like, yeah, that's why you love it, because you've never actually finished it, because that game is awful.
Fair.
And it really, really is. That game, of course, is followed by Indigo Prophecy, known as Fahrenheit in Europe.
Yes. I have a point that's after your chronological games. That one's about
that one showcases David Cage's one of his core problems, in that he gets immediately bored with whatever he's writing about.
He's like, that sounds like a cool concept. I'll just like go that way instead.
The first like 10% of any David Cage game feels like it's brilliant, and then you immediately realize, oh, wait a minute, he hasn't thought about any of this, and none of this is ever gonna get referenced ever again. His writing is weak and flimsy, and it feels like first drafts. This is the sort of thing, and I know, listen, we're already off the trails, but I'm just gonna get this out of my chest, okay? If Hideo Kojima had an editor, his stories would transcend gaming. They would be so crazy, balls to the wall ridiculous, that people outside of the gaming sphere would have to acknowledge them.
Yeah.
If David Cage had an editor, his stories would still be fucking par.
But at least they would make sense.
They would at least make sense, and they wouldn't directly lie to the reader, which takes me to Heavy Rain, the third game they made.
The best of the bunch.
It's the best, but because we're grading on a scale.
Yeah, and because they cut out most of the stupidest shit.
So, you may be thinking to yourselves, if you're unfamiliar with David Cage, do you think we're being really unfair?
That's
but
fair.
I want you to come in with the open mind and realize that we have at least, I mean, Kitty hasn't watched Omicron, but we're gonna watch it eventually.
Yeah,
It's fucking bad.
I've seen, like, the first couple hours of Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah, and, like, listen...
And I've watched, like, 5 different people play Heavy Rain.
Yeah, I've seen, like, 5 different playthroughs of Heavy Rain.
And, like, 3 or 4 of Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, and, like, the thing is that David has these shortcomings, and he leaves his calling card everywhere, and he's straightforward in the fact that he makes the same stupid mistakes, and he just loves having random shit happen because he thinks it's cool, but he doesn't actually bother to establish it. There was a whole supernatural element to Heavy Rain about people having mind links that is still in the game disc, but got patched out.
Thank God.
So that those scenes would never appear in the game.
Which is what makes it so coherent, honestly.
Yeah, it makes it, well, less incoherent than his other work. Which you may be thinking to yourselves, but how can Heavy Rain be the best one? There were 2 games after that. There's Beyond Two Souls.
There's one more game, and then Detroit.
And then Detroit. Beyond Two Souls is...
It's an Ellen Page simulator.
It's the Ellen Page simulator, quite literally. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about, a lot of really gross things that happen in regards to that, but we'll touch on those as they come up. Beyond Two Souls is a terrible story. Okay, all of the David Cage games, I'll summarize them real quick for you, okay? Cool concept, terrible execution, and full of inconsistencies.
And potholes.
And of course, that brings us to the latest game, Detroit: Become Human.
So, as you've heard about all these games, you may remember in the recent news about, if you didn't know anything about Quantic Dreams before, the name may sound familiar to you because it's been in gaming news kind of recently for their office behavior.
Yeah, apparently the environment at Quantic Dream is quite toxic.
Yes.
There is this really funny thing going around of like an interview with one of the creators, and in the background you can see a whiteboard that has what appears to be a penis with balls farting, which may or may not tell you a lot about the kind of work environment that happens at Quantic Dream.
So I do want to put that out there as like, we know the problems surrounding Quantic Dream.
Yeah.
And
we're aware of it.
This
we're
game.
aware of it. Yeah. And like, listen, we're setting the table basically, because like we have said before, we love storytelling, and when it works we point it out, and when it doesn't we of course call it out, because ultimately, at least for us, we are, you could say, like the kind of person who cherishes the meal. We look at it and go, oh yeah.
Oh, look at all these different veggies.
No.
Stuff.
Oh, the steak is cooked to perfection, medium rare on the dot. You know, the craftsmanship behind it, because when it's really good, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
Like the whole purpose of writing, and as people who do writing and do editing can tell you, when it's going right, you don't notice it.
And that's the best.
And it's good. It's been great, actually, because in preparation for this, Northern Lion played
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls back to back. And it was great seeing someone who is not creatively focused. Mm-hmm. He's actually more of a technical guy. He does coding.
Yeah. Which has been hilarious watching him do Detroit.
And I just love watching a person who is not like us, who's not hyper-aware to the bad writing and still be able to go, wait, that makes no sense. Like, why did you do this? No, wait, David.
To laugh at... Yes, Yanto?
Is our cat being whiny?
I thought
also, my voice sounds funny. It's because I'm sick of this fucking game. Whoop, whoop, whoop. No, I'm not.
No. Again, came back from Fanime.
Yeah, no, we just came back. I just got the con flu. But we really wanted to sit down and talk about this. Because I've been yelling about it on Twitter. Because this story...
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, he's whining. I might let him in, depending on how whiny he gets. This game... he knows we're talking to the mic. So he's like, I want in. Let me in,
Baby!
This game might just be David Cage's
magnum opus.
Well, but also, I mean, yes, magnum opus. I mean, it's the most beautiful because even like Beyond Two Souls didn't look as good as Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain had kind of a palette, and while it was gross first-person shooter from the 2000s era, it still kind of had some character to it.
It also works for its own genre in a way.
And I'm gonna
Beyond Two Souls is just like.
And I'm gonna say this right now, okay? The palette worked for having a cast that was all white people.
Fair.
When you get to Beyond Two Souls and you get to like the Native American characters, some things just start, and it's it's one of those things where it's like David, if you're gonna write about these things, you should do you should handle them with a little bit of care. No. David Cage is tone deaf and appears to show like I don't know if in his head he thinks he's being like super clever and everything.
Probably.
But he's not. This story, in case you don't know what Detroit Become Human is all about, this story takes place in the future of 2038 United States, particularly Detroit.
Detroit, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan. Sorry.
And Detroit is now, not the place that it is today, but rather the Android City.
Metropolis.
Androids, in case you don't know, and you may be surprised because I remember when I was taking writing class like a bunch of years ago before Android phones took off. Mm-hmm. I wrote a story about androids. And one of the people who was giving me feedback had to actually look up what it was, because you never know. An android is a robotic creature that is made to look like a human being. Mm-hmm. If you want examples of androids in fiction, fucking Westworld, freaking
does Chobits count?
Alien. Chobits is absolutely an android,
even though she's got non-human functioning too.
As long as it's made to look like a human. That one robot girl from Mass Effect, robot lady, the one who likes Joker.
Yeah. They be banging.
Yeah, like examples of like also I'm just gonna drop this here because I just fucking love bringing this up. Okay. Mm-hmm. A cyborg is a human with cybernetic augments. RoboCop, cyborg.
Not android.
Fucking Jensen from Deus Ex. Cyborg, not robot, not android. And of course a robot, like Robo from Chrono Trigger, Bender from Futurama.
Meow.
Yeah. And...
he wants in.
Also, Vash the Stampede is neither a robot nor an android.
No, because he's actually got plant components.
He's actually just an organism.
Come in! Come in, sir. Come in. Come in!
He's so whiny.
My baby! There we go,
Don't sit on my chair. Yanto. No!
Right on the chair. Come here, my baby. Ouch,
so, Detroit Become Human is a story about androids, and...
Not about race.
It's about in case you wonder what oh my god, Yanto. As long as he doesn't start purring, I'll be fine. Yeah, by the way, Yanto's now sitting on the desk.
Right behind the microphone. So
right
he's
behind the microphone.
You guys. Ah. Can you say hi? He's purring.
Oh my god, that bum. Detroit Become Human is a story about... Oh yeah, in case you wonder why we keep making that joke. David Cage... oh my god, he's grooming Kitty. He's so happy.
Here, I get you back.
He missed us. We haven't been recording since we came back from Panama. Welcome back to the cat grooming ASMR.
The vague cat grooming sound ASMR.
So the reason why we keep making that joke of like, this story is about nothing, this story is about humans, this story is not about androids. Janto's so loud. It's because in several interviews back-to-back, David Cage kept contradicting himself when being asked what the story was about, especially in regarding the clear racial implications of the game.
Everything in this
the trailers leading to the game clearly showed a story thread about androids claiming their rights as beings, and the imagery that appeared in the trailers, a raised fist, and especially considering the times that we live in, felt like it was a little bit on the nose. To which David Cage said, "It's not about androids, it's about people. Woo! It's not about anything. It's about androids. It's about family." So that's the joke, in case you're wondering where that comes from. You want to get the pen?
I'm attempting to with my toes, but I'm using my bad foot.
The story of Detroit Become Human is told from the point of view
3 different characters.
3 different androids. We have Connor, who is our detective android.
Detective man.
Because it's David Cage, there's gotta be a detective in there somewhere.
He loves crime things, even though he has no idea how actual crime development works. Hello, my baby.
Yeah, Yanto's right next to the mic. So let's just pretend we're talking to Yanto.
Hi. He's purring.
He's so happy. Our second point of view character is Kara.
Who is not the Kara from the original demo that this game is kind of loosely based on.
Yeah, I know.
She is named after something we haven't learned yet.
Well, it's because she was hit by a Kara.
That's a good joke.
She is a home abuse story thread.
I can't even say anything because it's true.
Yeah, and
then
our last thread is Marcus,
the black android.
The black android. There is a bunch of things here that are very problematic right off the start about the war.
He takes
care of an old white guy.
Yeah. That's problematic.
Yeah. It's an old white guy in a wheelchair. I want you to guess for how long he fucking lives. Listen.
Like 10 chapters?
Well, no. How many chapters of those is he in? He survives
2.
Well, no.
The one he dies in.
He lives for one, dies in the next.
Yeah.
David Cage's writing is so on the fucking nose that we have this character talking about how, it's like, oh, what's the point of me painting? I'm out of ideas. I'm just slowly, day by day.
Such a fragile machine.
Yeah, I'm getting closer and closer to the day that I die. And then he dies in the next chapter that you see him, and I'm like, oh, David.
Oh, David.
Oh, David.
You are so cute, Yanto. He's like actually grooming me and giving me love bites.
Oh, what a good son. He's here because he knows we're suffering.
It's true. He loves it when we suffer.
So, oh my god. You can hear Yanto grooming. This might be the best or the worst. So we've spent 22 minutes talking about nothing.
Talking about the prelude to actually talking about Detroit Become Human.
Now, I feel like we have to address a couple of things. I know. It's because we want to talk about the events, but in order to do that, we have to talk about the basic setup for the story and the immediate pitfalls. Because there's a bunch of David Cage hates world building.
He really does.
David Cage hates having to stop and think about his settings for more than 2 seconds.
It's true.
He never stops to go, well, what would this mean for the world and for the story? In the world of Detroit Become Human,
androids were just kind of accepted within like 10 years.
Androids have been around for like very little. That's our cat scratching his ear. Androids, by the way, also cost about $8,000.
$8,000 to $9,000.
And apparently are disposable as heck, even though that makes no sense at all.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, and also paper doesn't exist in this world anymore. We all just use disposable iPads.
Yeah.
And also there is a 40% unemployment rate because all of the androids are taking everybody's jobs. In case you're a person of history
buff.
you may remember that this number. You may realize this number makes no fucking sense because in the Great Depression,
which was the worst economic time that America
in American history,
seen.
The unemployment was 25%. And I actually really like the way that the best friends put it, that like at 40% unemployment rate, that's when the millionaires' heads start to fucking roll down the streets.
Yeah.
Because like when 40% of the population doesn't have a job, that's an army right there. So David Cage, of course, not stopping to think, not stopping to actually.
It actually just means one like little protest group on the street.
Yeah, and there's a couple
peaceful
homeless
protests.
Even though 40% of the people are, unemployed, there's just like 3 homeless people on the street.
Yeah, there's like 3 homeless people. One guy's making human music.
Yeah. Oh, that's the stupidest throwaway.
I missed that the first time. I'm so glad.
That's the stupidest throwaway. Human music. There's actually a bunch of things that you can miss, and I'm glad that we're watching several playthroughs to actually be able to see them.
We'll probably also watch Video Games Awesome's
VGA.
first episode.
Yeah.
It's like 2 hours.
I
so
hope they actually keep playing it because
hopefully. because then we can have another.
I mean, and we like Fresh over here at Dango Duo.
We love Fresh and Becky.
Oh my God, Kitty, move him!
Whoa, Jesus!
Kitty, he's
Yanto.
Kitty, he's being too powerful.
Hey.
He's like, no, let me groom.
I know you want to groom yourself, but you're right in the way, my love.
Can you put him on your lap?
He will not like that, but we'll see. Hey, my baby. That was a good boy.
He's like, okay, I'm leaving now. I'm so unhappy.
He gave me a bite.
I can't believe. No, don't let him get back on the desk.
No.
We're never gonna finish this video. Yanto. So I cleared my desk yesterday, and now he's super happy.
Now he's angry.
He's biting me. He's like, how dare you, human?
No.
Hey, Yanto.
No.
Could you at least meow so they know that we're not crazy?
He meowed. No.
His tail is like happy though, like he's playing. He's like, oh.
He's having fun.
I got your attention, human.
No. Sit down. Sit your butt.
You want to put like a plushie on the bed, on the desk? You want to put like...
It's fine. Here you go. Sit. Sit your butt.
Hey, Yanto. I need this. You want to sit on it? Hey, Yanto. I have this plush in my lap. You want to sit on it?
Here we go.
He's settling on Kitty's lap.
Oh, thank
Let's
God.
go. Let's actually go. So hey there.
So anyway, enough world building because David Cage hates that.
He hates it. He does.
There's also like wars going on with Russia that they just casually drop in the background, and like millions of people dead.
Also, if you follow my writing advice channel, you know that like a part of coming up with a good story is to literally ask all the questions about the world to make it feel like it's in depth and it actually makes sense.
Make it feel like it actually takes place in the world.
Yeah, David Cage does none of that.
He doesn't even really understand his full like his own concept because he hasn't talked about what do the androids run on? Do they run on battery power? How long does the battery power last?
They run on a mysterious material.
They made them install like a little thingy in their head, but you can just take it off really easily.
There are so many problems. Also, I love that even though the unemployment rate is 40%, 4 out of every 10 American adults don't have a job.
Most of them still have androids.
Most of them can afford to have an android. Mm-hmm. And when we see job positions that would easily have an android, we see real people.
Somehow.
Like, I feel like
half the jobs have an android and half don't, and none of them make sense.
Yeah, and like I feel like in a better told story, which by the way, take a shot every time we say that, of water, stay hydrated. I'm sick. You should also hydrate.
Yeah.
Like every time, like in a better told story, you would literally see like you would see the crowd of androids going to do all the errands. And
Chobits.
Yeah. So I made that tweet, but I'm like, I really do feel that David Cage watched 5 minutes of Chobits with the sound off and thought, yeah, no, I can do this better. I can do this way better.
No, you stay, my baby.
Because, like, Chobits is, like, a way better told version of the story.
And Chobits is from, like, 2005. Yeah. How can you have... This is a story from 2018, and you can't do better than Chobits?
There are so many...
Story by Clamp. I love Clamp, but they're so balls.
No, Clamp is really balls. And listen,
they don't even give a shit.
Chobits was not free from plot holes.
No.
But it was still a good story. But you know what?
And it had good world building.
You know what? You're right, Kitty. Let's just start.
Why did she put the button in the vagina?
Yeah, it's fine. You know, David Cage could have... He saw that and go, oh, I could have written that.
Oh, man, I should put that in my story. Okay, let's...
Actually, one more thing. Mm-hmm. That just fucking gets me to no end. Mm-hmm. And... boys, hold up, boys. Hold on to your pants, okay? Time to get real woke right now, okay? In the culture of the United States, in which toxic male masculinity bases itself solely on the possession and control of women, it is astonishing, soul-shatteringly stupid that there aren't 99% female androids.
Honestly.
The fact that a man... I mean, I understand a man getting, like, a black man as his android, because that falls on the whole racism thing.
Fair.
But, like, why are there so many male androids when the entire...
It really should be more,
It should be 99% female androids.
It should be at least 80-20.
Especially when it's established that you can fuck them.
Yeah.
So, like, this to me is incredibly baffling.
It makes sense in, like, Connor's position. Oh, yeah, they would only make the male androids to be the detectives. Yeah.
Because being a white man is the safest position you can be.
Yep.
Like, even though he's an android, he can be led in places that he otherwise wouldn't be led to because he's white. Or he appears white. And then we're already at the conversation of race. One, which David Cage does not want to address, but it is directly talking about.
Yeah.
And talking about it badly. Yes. We will touch about what may be the stupidest moment in this entire first block of 11 chapters, as Kitty counted them.
As my count is. I think one chapter actually gets combined, but it's fine. Yeah.
But before that, let's just start with the demo scene in which Connor...
or the prologue.
The prologue in which Connor appears at a hostage situation involving an android and a little girl and the events that unfold thereof. It's the demo that came out, and it's kind of inconsequential to the entire game. Yeah, but it's the opening sequence.
And for what it is, it definitely establishes things. Can I have some water, my babe?
Absolutely. The game visuals looks really good. The interface really good. Someone did their job.
Yeah.
The way that you reconstruct like crime scenes,
it's a little weak, but
it looks cool.
Yeah.
Also, this game is just a point-and-click adventure game. Like this is not even an interactive adventure. It's just a point-and-click adventure game.
Look, there's a thing I can look at, touch.
Yeah. Like, you literally have to just go and click on things. It's a point-and-click adventure game.
It really is.
Thankfully, we're not having stupid puzzles.
With QuickTime events.
Or QuickTime events, thankfully.
Yeah.
This first scene, it's fine until you start to actually squint at it. I think the best friends brought this up.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, the situation, in case you're wondering, is that Daniel the android realized that he was about to be replaced. Also, you're wondering, but androids are like robots?
Yes.
Artificial intelligence, they shouldn't have feelings.
We'll maybe talk about that. We'll see how far David takes it.
We'll see how far David takes it. I'm gonna put my money on he doesn't think about it.
He doesn't think much further than where we are at this current point.
Yeah. Additional to that, Daniel, the android, upon realizing that he's going to be replaced, he takes the gun of
the dad.
Because of course he has a gun because it's America.
Mm-hmm.
He kills the dad.
And
takes the little girl hostage.
Yeah. Because the little girl, they had developed a bond of some sort.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know how that works, but
yeah, it's fine. Listen, we're already turning off our brains, which is like the sign of a bad story.
Because little kids love androids.
Well, like people were making the joke about like I love my Roomba.
Yeah.
And it's like so the idea that culture would immediately within like 5 to 10 years look at androids as objects, as not as people, even though they're made to look like people.
Yeah.
It's baffling.
Yeah.
It's absolutely baffling.
And it's immediately apparent to you when like, as Connor, you enter the scene and you see the mom is being dragged out by one of the police, and it's like, you're sending an android? You're sending a thing to get my daughter?
Why aren't you sending a real person?
And she's like screaming to the cops about it, and then immediately the next thing you do is go find the lieutenant who hates you because you're an android, who doesn't even want to speak to you, even though you're just there to do your job because you're a robot.
Exactly. Like take another shot of water every time we're going like. This is not how people would talk. Like you wouldn't talk to your Roombas like, oh, it's a fucking Roomba. Oh, look at you. Why aren't you bringing in a real vacuum? Like it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Being angry at the android doesn't actually. It's like the person who just kicks a light post. It's just doing its job. It's not programmed to fuck with you. It's programmed to do its job.
Yeah.
It's baffling that someone in a position of power, in the case of the lieutenant, goes, oh, it's a fucking android. Ugh.
There's no help. We should send real backup.
Also, Daniel the android, who's taking the girl hostage, killed 2 cops. I'm going to tell you...
No, he killed 2 cops and injured another.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a little tidbit right now, okay? In 2018 America, the instant a cop is dead, bullets start flying.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, cops are fucked up in that way. So I'll just tell you right now
that this situation would not have happened.
This would not, especially when they have snipers, ready to take the shot. They have a helicopter out, and no one's taking the shot. We haven't said this before, but Daniel the android looks white. You may want to remember this for a following scene. So of course, based on your choices, you can. I mean, you succeed no matter. I assume you can fail. I guess it doesn't matter because it's.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because I don't know if it's ever going to be brought up again.
So depending on your choices and what you do, you can either save the little girl or not, or save yourself, or probably just fail.
Yeah.
Most of the choices appear to just end up with you sacrificing yourself.
That's what it seems to be. Yeah.
Mission accomplished. Is there anything else you want to say about the demo, Kitty?
It's a nice scene for what it is, establishing the world, even though it's stupid, and establishing like the main kind of detective-y mechanic that you're gonna play with during the time.
Yep, and everybody uses that mechanic, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. Yenta's, by the way, snoring right now. He's passed out on my hand.
Yeah, he has like his paws inside of the little desk thingy.
Yeah. But no, the demo it's a decent scene.
It's a nice vertical slice of what the game's gonna look like.
And it's also like it's got like some details that I didn't see. Like first playthrough we didn't notice, and then second one you're like, oh wait a minute, where like there's a fish on the floor.
Yeah,
you can save the fish.
Yeah,
and that's breaking programming. Which is kind of interesting. Because that's like...
Which is weird, because, like, you would think that it's like...
Well, no, because you're programmed to just do your job.
Yeah.
But Connor was like, I'm going to save this fish instead, which is, like, breaking program. And we'll talk about breaking program very literally later.
Funny how, like, turning off the pot doesn't do that.
No.
Also, wouldn't the cops do that? Is they just going to let that
they really
pot boil over?
And they've been there for how long? I don't know.
Yeah.
But, the scene is decent for what it is.
Yeah. Like this scene becomes worse the more time we spend playing the game, because especially of the other scene that happens when an android doesn't do anything and cops are involved.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. The first formal chapter in the story is a short one.
Well, actually, we're just gonna do the intro first. Talk about the intro real
quick. Yeah, the intro.
Yeah, which isn't the chapter, but it's introducing us to Kara.
Yeah, the introduction to Kara.
Who immediately you're like, oh,
wait a minute, Kitty, that man looks slimy, he's overweight, he's balding, I bet he abuses his children.
And his robot.
Because David Cage doesn't know what subtlety is.
No.
David Cage...
Even if it hit him with a Kara...
Yeah. His hands are actually just hams.
Yeah.
He's just ham-fisted for realsies.
Yeah.
That's why when he writes, he just bashes the keyboard with his ham hands.
And then everyone else is trying to figure out what it says. The intro also gives you a nice little like cinematic of what Detroit is like, going through Detroit, like the metropolitan area, and then going into the slums.
The suburbs.
The suburbs, which are now slums, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Which is, I guess, interesting establishing for your world if you're gonna set it up this stupidly.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? That like even though this man is apparently unemployed and is having a bad time, he can still afford to live in a 2-story house,
and he can
repair
his android after he abused it.
Yeah, so it's very
heavily.
heavily.
What did you say that happened to your android? Oh, she got hit by a car.
Yeah, well, it's funny because that's not what we repaired at all.
Yeah.
That actually makes no sense. Also, okay, don't you think? Okay, real talk. If you buy an android, a robotic organism made to look like a human being
that has some kind of AI
that cleans your house and does whatever job you want it to do, goes on errands, basically all of those like food delivery businesses are dead now because you just send your android out.
Yeah.
If the android witnesses you doing something illegal, should the android report to the police? If the android witnesses you beating your kids, should it do something? I think it should do something.
Depends on the creator of the androids.
I think...
But yes, depending on the world, like, if we're talking about real life, yes, 100%. Yeah. If we're talking about whatever world David wants it in, it would depend on who created these androids. Yeah. We don't know anything about cyberlife at the moment.
The thing that I just kind of baffling is that...
There's also only one company that makes the androids.
Yeah, which is, of course, silly. It hit me particularly home because I recently purchased a new device for myself. I purchased a new step tracker because I wanted a new one because the old Fitbit that I had was ancient and actually apparently wasn't counting my steps right.
Yeah.
And I wanted to buy something new, but I didn't want to drop $250 for an Apple Watch. So Kitty, of course, being the deal hunter that she is,
I was like, hey, why don't we find something that's like it, but not?
Yeah, and
we did.
I found something that was just $40, and it looks fantastic, and it does everything I want it to. So, in the competitive capitalistic nature of the United States of America, I am baffled at the idea that Apple, that Microsoft, that
Google,
that China hasn't just jumped in on this
and made cheaper androids.
Especially when apparently the entry price is $8,000, which, by the way, is stupid.
It's very low for technology.
At $8,000, you replace your whole workforce with androids.
Yeah.
Because that pays for itself in like 4 months?
Yeah. Less probably.
It's stupid. They should actually be like $20,000. Yeah. There should be something that like, yes, businesses afford them, but regular people can't.
Yeah.
Or only a certain kind of people.
Like rich people.
Also, androids have been around for long enough that people see them as objects, not as people, in spite of what they look like. But also, we don't see any Mark I androids going around. We don't see any like.
Well, I think that's what the numbers on there jacket are supposed to be.
No, but I mean like actual like we don't see the transition from iPhone 1 to iPhone 7 or iPhone X.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's visible. You can like it's obvious.
Yeah, the only other thing that you can tell is like apparently in the history of the game, like 5 years ago, they made you put like a little circle on the forehead on one side of the forehead of an android,
and also give them clothes that are
specifically for androids.
Yeah,
so
which
that you can identify.
You want to just talk about that right now? You want to talk about the significance of the clothing? So David Cage, again, ham-fisted,
subtle as a fucking needle.
Pat from the Best Friends pointed this out, and we actually did the research. Pat was pointing out that the androids all have
armbands,
blue armbands, and blue triangles on their back,
upside down,
or on
their chest.
Yeah, on their chest, on their backs. And he pointed out that
they have their names on
that
their
looked
backs,
a lot like the badges that they gave to people at Nazi concentration camps. And turns out, yeah, you want to know what the blue triangle means, everybody? Forced labor.
Hey, the nose, my friend David.
No, Kitty. Someone in the comments is like, yo, that makes no... That's a leap of faith. You want to know where the word robot comes from? It comes from the Czech term for forced labor.
On the nose, my friend.
No,
David?
it's the nose. It's
we
going
are
through your
in the nose.
It's in the nose.
We're inside the nose.
It's inside the sinus, actually.
Yeah.
We're living in there. The acoustics are pretty good.
Oh, that reminds me. I'm supposed to take some headache meds. Can you pass me some?
Oh yeah, I can do that. The scene, by the way, Hank? What the fuck is his name?
Who?
The greasy gross man.
I think his name is Hank.
Greasy gross man.
Oh no, that's the detective.
The other greasy gross man.
I don't know the owner of Kara.
Freaking parental abuse man. Speaking up Kara, which clearly he busted last time, and repairing it and sticking her home.
And it has reset her memory so she doesn't remember the events of the abuse, so that we as an audience can learn of the horrors together.
Okay, question. If you take your computer to the Genius Bar, and when they're fixing it, they find a bunch of child porn in it.
I think they are legally required to report you to the police.
So if they fix the robot and they see that you were beating your child and then you beat the robot because they witnessed you beating the child, shouldn't they do something about it?
Yes. And we've learned...
I hate David Cage so bad.
And we learned later that the androids do have a memory chip.
Yeah, which... this becomes a problem later on because we have an android that commits a crime, and the people who arrested the android, instead of just immediately
taking out the memory chip and
just connecting the micro USB to their temple, decide to interrogate the android.
As if that's gonna...
Also, we have to address this right now. I'm so sorry. I'm so angry.
It's fair.
You can tell stories about abuse. You can tell stories with abuse in it.
Yes.
The problem here is that David...
But he's not saying anything.
He's the one not saying anything. Like the only reason the abuse is there is because that makes...
shock value.
And it justifies you murdering the guy later on.
Yeah, it's cool.
And
the next scene.
Yeah, literally the next scene. This story is really, really fast, you guys.
Yeah, I don't even know how long this game is, but it seems like we're going there quick.
We arrive at androids breaking their programming somehow within 2 hours.
6 chapters, 7 chapters in.
No,
6 chapters because we see the android who killed the owner.
Yeah. David Cage just doesn't... He just hates establishing things.
It's true.
You know, he's like, well,
please,
I know that I'm supposed to establish the gun, but what if I just give you the gun from the start? And what about if you just fire the gun the first time you put your hands in it?
Yep. No, baby, sit down.
You can tell stories about abuse. You can tell stories with abuse in them. It's about you handle it, but particularly, it's extra bad when your in-world setting has ways to prevent that.
Yeah.
The idea that he would put in this robot and they're like, oh wow, there's the robot was beaten, which you would be able to tell because it passed out from it. Yeah. Your computer literally goes, hey, I shut down randomly last time. Here's the log.
Yeah, here's what happened.
It's baffling. And you go, it's because David didn't think about it.
It's because David doesn't do his research.
It's because David has hams for hands and he can't backspace.
He can't research.
So I fucking hate that. It's stupid. But hey, we're on point 2 out of 11, so let's move on unless you have anything else to say.
No, the intro is nice cinema.
And then we move to the actual first chapter of the story, which is Marcus shopping.
Marcus goes to the paint store.
Yeah.
In which paint comes in a box, a small box. Don't worry about that. I don't know why paint comes in a box.
Actually, that makes sense. It's because it's pigments. It's powder. Yeah, no, that's the one thing where
but
I'm
he
like,
also
that's
has
fine.
pink cans when you get to the actual guy's house.
Yes, he's fancy.
That's fair.
I don't know,
He's rich. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where I'm like, the idea that there will be a store dedicated to that at the mall or at that area.
Center
that's silly.
Of a shopping
they should
center.
at least be like 3 foot for shoes for less there.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
So we meet
I'm sorry, I love NL's point that there's a theater and it's playing 4 action movies.
Like 5 or 6 action movies,
there's
no romantic comedies, no horror,
no children movies,
no kids movies, no shitty kids movies. It's all action.
Fucking love NL. NL's so good.
We meet our black android, Marcus. Who, is going shopping for some paint.
Yeah.
We don't know why yet, because that's the next scene.
And we do acknowledge that there are branching paths here, and although not every person ended up getting roughened up by the crowd, most of them did, and the people we watched did. We're going to talk about
that little area, because otherwise you just skip the crowd. And it's boring.
Can I just say my nitpick about the scene with him and the person the android at the pigment store?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I think, from a storytelling point of view, it's cool that you just send your android to do jobs. Mm-hmm. I actually kind of like that shit. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that Marcus walks up to the counter and is like, I'm here to pick up an order.
No, he doesn't even say that. No, he scans his hand.
Yeah. And, like, that's pretty cool because that automates it. And, honestly, the digital handshake, your computer is doing that when it connects to a Wi-Fi network or anything. Yeah. What I dislike is that the instant he does that, the android behind the counter starts talking and goes, oh, yes, welcome. Your order is ready. Like first off,
confirm payment.
You're talking to an android first and foremost.
An android is talking to an android.
Yeah, so literally,
you guys could all do this.
Technologically. In a better written story, he literally puts it down. Like they do the digital handshake, and then like puts the order down. Marcus takes it and walks out, and done.
Thank you for your purchase. Yeah, and then that's it.
Yeah, like again. In a better told story, because why do androids need to talk to one another?
They don't, because you can see in later scenes, Kara can turn on the TV without saying anything, just with her little brain thingy.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't she be able to brain thingy with another android? Except androids do talk to each other. It's very weird.
It's very inconsistent.
It is very inconsistent. Also, but it's like a worker drone android.
Why does Marcus have to put his hand on the charging thingy? Because androids don't have fingerprints. We established that in the story.
We established this later. Yeah.
Yeah.
He hadn't thought about it yet.
You joke, but that's really on the nose. So on the way out from the store, you can choose to walk near a crowd. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, you end up getting roughed up. But Kitty, how does that scene go?
Protesters. There's these angry protesters, and we get our first robo slur almost. It's not bad, so I
just call them tin cans.
They call them tin cans. It's fine. No Yanto.
Which is of course not very imaginative, but that's fine.
They rough Marcus up, and then it takes you sit there and there's a bunch of people kicking him and ganging up on him and starting to
they push him on the ground and then kick him.
Yeah. Finally, then the cop who was nearby shows up and is like, "All right, stop it, you guys. Come on.
Right. That's enough.
We all know we hate androids." He doesn't actually say this, but you can tell this. We all know we hate androids, but that's somebody's property. I'm gonna have to fine you. Yeah. And then the guy goes, "He's coming for your job next."
Yeah. The line that I hate the most in that is that the guy. When the cop shows up, he turns the main guy who's leading the protest, looks to the cop and goes, or it's like, come on, let's teach this android a lesson. Yeah. And that.
Oh no, he doesn't turn to the cop. That's the lady talking to the main guy.
Yeah. Let's teach this android a lesson.
As if this android is programmed to learn.
Yeah.
What is he supposed to learn from this?
Nothing, because it's a robot. It's doing its job.
Yeah. It learns not to go near protesters.
It's baffling. Also, I forgot to mention this before, but in basically every kind of and also, I'm not saying you have to use the 3 laws of robotics in every story about robots. But I think it's pretty. But I think there's one point in which okay, do your androids allow humans to be hurt by other humans? Yeah, you do have to address the laws of robotics in some way. I feel like you have to address
because it's so standard.
Because I'm in disbelief at the idea that Kara would be programmed to allow the dad to beat the girl. Yeah, no. She had to break programming to save the girl. Because it's literally like a smart car that's programmed to against all reason run over black people. Oof. Just because the driver wants it to. Yeah. I feel that there has to be. You have to talk about it and state it, but they don't. So because it's a David Cage game. Because David didn't think about that.
Yep. But yeah, so you get roughed up by the protesters. The police comes, and then we get something neither of us saw, and because we hadn't watched the game trailers. The moment that broke us.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Was immediately.
Marcus stops at the bus stop.
Marcus goes to take the bus. There's an Android-only little terminal for them.
And guess where it is?
In the back of the bus, with no seats, just standing. Androids sit in the back of
stand
in the back of the bus.
Now,
this isn't about race.
Now, our international viewers may not be aware of this, but just to give them a bit of a
in the civil rights movements from the 50s, 60s,
there was a lot of segregation in America.
Yes.
And people of color were forced.
Mostly black people were not allowed into certain spaces. Were not allowed in at certain schools to drink from different water fountains. Particularly, we talk about this a lot because of the history of Rosa Parks. Particularly, they were meant to be in the back of the bus so that the white people had the priority seats up front. They were meant to be either in the back of the bus or standing if white people were taking all the seats.
Exactly.
So and that's why when Rosa Parks refused to get up, that was a big historical change.
Yeah. And
realizing that, oh shit, Black people aren't just going to sit and take it.
Exactly.
Because we're literally fucking them over.
But the story
knows
not
no subtlety.
About race.
And also it says, David Cage claims this is not about race.
This is about family.
It's about family.
Every time we say that, I'm like, welcome to the family, son.
That's fair. So anyway.
We're mixing our references.
Androids stand at the back of the bus.
But... We're
not
not
race.
Gonna take it.
It's not about race.
It's not about. Oh no! Absolutely.
It's about androids.
Absolutely
it's about humanity.
Not. Oh no! Just hold up until Marcus gets shot by a cop. Just wait for that. That's coming up. This takes us to the next scene with Kara, where she is cleaning because that's what female robots do.
One more small subject about the Marcus scene. You could say, oh, David Cage is French, therefore he doesn't know about the American segregation and why this is significant. Except all of his stories take place in America, and he's obviously using this as a metaphor to talk about androids. So you can't be like, oh no, he didn't know any better. No, he knew.
Also, I think that when you are running a game company and you're getting paid a lot and Sony is paying you to make a game, I feel like you kind of have to show up and do your work.
Yeah.
But hey,
anyway.
So the next scene deals with Kara cleaning. We arrive at the house of Greasy Grossman
and his daughter,
who, by the way, also does drugs because
he does not. He does his daughter.
Oh no, yeah. She also does drugs.
She also does drugs.
This is the man, by the way, who
beat Kara,
who has no job but apparently can afford to have a 2-story house
and a robot
and a daughter.
And he had a wife who left
and
him
smoke
because of
drugs.
Of crack ice.
Red
ice crack.
Yeah, it's
Robo
crack.
Crack.
It's crack.
It's robo crack.
It's the worst part. Also, I hate that when he smokes it, there's this red smoke that comes out that looks just like the drug from D4. It actually baffles me. It's just a drug from D4. It's actually ridiculous. Sweary's got nothing. Don't take that away from Sweary.
I know, poor guy.
Poor Sweary.
So this scene is mostly do menial tasks with the press of a button. This scene has 2 small things that happen in it, and it's just...
And one of them is really stupid.
Which one is the stupid one?
Kara is asked to clean and to do laundry, and when she has brought the laundry in and she's gonna wash them, she's like, well, I better put detergent in it because I'm supposed to do my fucking job. At which point, she grabs the soap, and inside she sees that there's a little plastic thingy
of drugs
with drugs in it. At which point, Grossman teleports out of nowhere.
Teleports behind her, spawns in behind her,
grabs her by the neck, pushes her against the wall, and says, "Get your nose out of my damn business." And everyone
my hair
who was watching this went,
what?
She's doing her job? You told her to clean? So
she's doing the laundry, you motherfucker. Why'd you keep your crack inside of detergent? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? I don't know. Don't do drugs.
I was gonna go really hard on this.
No.
I was gonna be like, listen, Kitty, I keep Never mind. That's too bad.
No.
Never mind. I can't commit to this
fine,
joke.
We'll drop it.
What's the other bad bit? Because that's the really bad one.
No, that's the bad bit. The other bit is like what we learn is that Alice is being abused.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because you see it, if you gain her trust enough, she'll let you into her treasure box, which is just a bunch of pictures of her being abused and then Kara being abused.
Yeah.
Which is drawings. And then at the end of the scene, either way, you'll see Alice like freak out because her dad like has a meltdown for a minute there and is like, why don't you love me?
Yeah.
Oh, because I do drugs.
Yeah, her dad has that nonsensical, out of nowhere, out of left field
freak out. What do you do when you play with some? Oh, you think I'm disgusting, don't you? And you're like, where is this coming from?
Also, in case you're wondering, does this white male have a gun? Yes, he does.
Right in his bedside table.
Next to his antidepressants, because he's also depressed. Yeah. Because David Cage is like, okay, well, how can I make him the grossest person alive? Mental illness, does drugs, he's unattractive, he's overweight, he's balding, he has a greasy face.
He doesn't have a wife, his wife left him.
How can I make him the most unlikable person possible so you can justify putting a bullet between his eyes?
Fair.
This is the way David Cage works, everybody. Listen. Anything else you want to say about this scene?
It's so boring.
That meltdown comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, especially if you do all of the cleaning tasks, like you're a good robot, like a good robot would. It's so boring. The scene is so boring.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I want, and Kitty pointed this out. Watching that game of just doing menial tasks, like, it's boring. I like it because I just want to play a chibi robo game again.
Yeah.
Like a
good chibi robo, not the 3DS one, which is a platformer.
I love doing menial tasks. Is there a reason why we fucking love Stardew Valley?
Yeah.
Because it's that loop. And I'm like, if there was a game where you're just an android cleaning people's houses, I would be so fun. Like a roguelike, where like dimensions are randomly generated. Make this game. Make this game.
Please.
I will back this game on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Like, because that shit is my shit. But then when Kitty was like, Max, you just want to play Chibi Robo. And I'm like, I do.
The good Chibi Robo.
All right.
So that's all that there's to say. Next scene, there's also not much to say about.
Yeah, Marcus comes home. We learn that his owner is a wise old white man on a wheelchair.
Who's disabled.
So
Carl helps.
So you know that he's gonna die in like 20 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, we learn he's a painter, so...
Yeah, and we also have a scene where Marcus gets to paint.
Yeah, and then the player gets to decide what he paints.
Because, you know...
And this is where the prompt, if you've seen this playing around, with prompt sadness comes.
Yeah, it's like...
Press X for sadness.
Press X for sadness. The thing here that is, like, it's baffling that David Cage has his own characters questioning the story.
Yeah.
Because Carl...
this guy, mostly.
Carl, the painter... is like, no, Marcus, paint something I've never seen before. Paint from the soul. And Marcus is like,
I can't do that.
Like,
that's
Carl,
not in my programming.
I can't do. I'm a robot. And then it's like, no, just close your eyes and do it. And like when we were watching that, I'm like, he's gonna paint the same image again. Like, what? How's he gonna paint something new? And then he paints something new, and I'm like,
beautiful. And then like the son who comes in is like looks at it and is like, you only ever cared about your paintings, as if he thinks that it's the old man's painting, not the robot's.
Also, so this scene ends with the introduction of Leo, the son of Carl, who is clearly doing drugs.
Very clearly on drugs, wants more money from his dad.
From his dad.
And then gets very aggressive with Marcus and is like, you never loved me.
And we get the best, like, set of lines.
Yeah, it's like, you only care about your plastic toy. And
you never loved anyone. You never loved me.
And then as he's trying to walk out, he goes, you never loved me.
You never loved me. When we watched that, we were laughing so bad that like every few minutes we'll turn to us. I'm like, you never loved me.
You never loved me.
You never loved me. Also, Kitty's on Kitty. Yeah. Yanto's on Kitty's lap.
He's passed out.
He's my little heater. You're getting overheated because you're rolling up your sleeves.
Yeah.
That
scene just establishes Carl's gonna die for Marcus's benefit,
and that Leo's gonna.
Surprising that a white man will die for a black man's development, but
okay, listen. The whole time that Carl is like, when I'm gone, you're gonna have to look after yourself. It makes no sense because I'm like, aren't I gonna be written in the will somewhere? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, what do you mean I have to tend for myself?
About that either.
Like you're talking to me like I'm your black slave, and you're gonna let me be free once you die. Listen. When you scrub off the very thin veil of this is about androids and you realize underneath that like lottery scratchy area that this is actually about slavery, you go, oh, this is very stupid.
Yeah.
The following scene deals with Connor at the bar, which might be the one good scene depending on how you play it.
Yeah. So Connor, depending on if you sacrificed him or not to save the little girl, he's fine. Don't worry.
Oh no, yeah, you just get another model.
Yeah, they just boot him up again. It's fine.
Yeah, get the black box.
So he has another case to investigate. And he apparently there's this special android division where they send in androids if it's an android involved crime.
Fair.
Which I didn't know that there were A, so many, and B, even such a thing before the demo case, but whatever. So they send in him to help out with a android homicide.
And immediately...
A homicide by an android, I should say.
And outside of the bar, it says no androids allowed.
Because the segregation, Jim Crow.
Because, right. Because this is about family.
It's about family. Please, can I have the water? I'm actually dying.
And the first gameplay segment is just scanning faces, and ironically...
It's a cute mechanic, but it's cute Watch Dogs did it 5 years ago.
It's cute until you realize that they're all people of color, and most of them have criminal records, because of course they do.
And or are unemployed.
Yeah, because of course. Because the only people with jobs are the white ones.
You're not wrong. And the bar owner, who is black.
And the bar owner, yeah.
Who is black. We'll give him that.
He's, Jimmy.
Jimmy's Bar.
That almost feels like a placeholder name. Jimmy's Bar. Really?
Yep, that's
Jimmy's
what we're calling it.
Bar.
That's what we're calling it.
So
Connor finds the lieutenant, who is...
Hank.
Who is not doing his job, who is drinking instead.
Yeah, who looks like a background character in Heavy Rain.
Who looks like the guy from Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah.
The mentor guy. Woody Harrelson. He reminds me so much of Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
It's a little uncanny. Right?
Oh, I wasn't looking at... I wasn't looking at the hair right, but now that I'm looking at the hair right...
It's just Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
It's just off-brand Woody Harrelson.
That's fair. I mean, Kira's off-brand...
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
So Connor goes and finds Lieutenant Anderson, and depending on how you take the scene...
actually, regardless of how you play the scene, you end up getting...
You go to the crime scene.
You go to the crime scene.
You convince him to go to the crime scene.
Now, the best friends got Wooly, who was... No. Pat, who was in control.
Yeah, Matt's in control.
I do actually like that since there are three people, Wooly, Pat, and Matt. They each play a different role. It's very convenient that Wooly picked the black guy.
And so he's like, no, I didn't.
I didn't pick him.
We all just like...
Wooly's black, in case you weren't aware of that.
Fair. But depending on how you
the best friends played it very logically, and that wasn't very fun. Anno played it aggressive to the extent that he spilled the guy's drink.
He took the guy's drink and spilled it and was like, no, I guess you'll have to go. Your drink's gone.
And then the guy gets all violent and is like, oh, you better be careful. Apparently, I'm worth a small fortune. And the way the actor played that and the delivery was, like, I remember exclaiming loudly, I like Connor.
Yeah, no, that makes, and I like the way he looks and acts in the game too. I feel like he's that's a very interesting actor that they've gotten to play this otherwise very standard role.
Yeah.
So and getting him in that scene is really fun because you get to see kind of his personality almost.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Because the last time we had a detective character like this, we had Norman Jayden.
Norman Jayden. I was gonna say Scott Shelby also, but
yeah, and Norman Jayden was a fucking loser.
Yeah, and but also played too straight almost.
He was played too straight,
except he had his airy.
Yeah, airy. Fucking low. We recommend Northern Lions LP of that. That's pretty good.
Top 3 LPs of Heavy Rain. VGA, Northern Lion, and Super Best Friends. Super Best Friends where they get Wooly involved.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
There you go. There's some watching
the
material
motion controls have never been good in those games.
No.
You know it's bad when a character dies at the hand of, not the player, but the motion controls. Every time. I was saying... Oh, yeah. Also, by the way, you're wondering, Connor, yes, he looks like young Johnny Depp. It's true. I was showing Kitty 21 Jump Street
original.
Johnny Depp. Yeah, Johnny Depp, and
that's very similar. Yeah. Off-brand young Johnny Depp.
Off-brand, yep.
And so that
and this scene leads us
it leads into going into the crime scene of this homicide by an android.
Yeah,
I mean they don't actually know that it's an android, but they suspect it's an android.
Yeah, it's actually really awkward.
Yeah, it's a little weird and clunky, but.
Yeah.
Basically, the gist of it is we've only seen the scene once because the best friends haven't gotten here, so now we're at only seeing these scenes played through once.
Yeah. So we will do some review in case that there's anything we didn't notice. Mm-hmm. But it was very thorough. Thankfully, he didn't miss the kitchen or the bathroom.
Yeah. So yeah, you go through the scene, kind of investigating what might have happened, what like the murderer, what did they use to do the murder. It's very detective standard stuff. Like Super Best Friends before were saying that like Batman has done this very similarly.
Of like recreating what happened backwards based on the clues that you have. Yeah, it's very standard nowadays.
Yeah, it's still cool, but
it's cool.
It's still cool.
The weirdest things in this scene, I think,
is the bathroom.
The bathroom, which immediately takes us into one of David Cage's tropes of he immediately gets bored of whatever he's talking about and has to level it up. In the bathroom of this crime scene, there is what is very clearly some sort of clay idol.
And shrine of some sort.
And the idol has unrealistic proportions to the extent that the first time I saw it, I'm like, it's aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens. Now, in case you're wondering, like, do I think there's gonna be supernatural shit in this game? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially with the way the first hour and a half has gone.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. The androids are... the androids that come into their senses are the reincarnated souls of the dead because it's the rapture's happening again, the third coming, let's go. That's it.
The third impact, let's go.
The third impact, let's go. Like I think David Cage, considering how stupid Beyond Two Souls was, he's not gonna shy away from being like, oh no, yeah, we're not gonna have androids. A random ghost raptors in the Navajo.
That's fine.
Or a underwater Chinese ghost base.
Yeah.
The fact that we can say that without sarcasm is ridiculous.
Yeah. The other
in the bathroom as well, on the walls is scrolled RA9.
Oh, is it? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. That's a scroll on the back. It's scrawled on the.
Because I remember because above the body is "I am alive."
Yeah. In Cyberlife Sans,
which is apparently a font.
Yeah.
But androids.
By the way, Cyberlife are the guys who make androids.
The only company.
So eventually you
figure out where
you figure out that the android is
is in the roof.
It's in the attic.
It hasn't left for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been like 3 weeks apparently, and he hasn't left because he didn't know. And there's this moment where you think you have a choice, but no, you don't.
Yeah. As always, choice is an illusion in this game because you could get to let him go. No, the game just makes a choice for you.
Following his programming.
Because of
tells
course.
the cops that, hey, there's the guy's up here.
Yeah. And I believe we don't get the revelation about RA9 until the interrogation. So that's pretty much it for this particular
that scene is mostly like figure out what is happening, where are the clues, all that fun stuff. Yep.
And now we are at Kara and the Alice escape.
Yeah.
So we have had 1.5 scenes with gross oily man.
It's time for him to die.
So it's time for him to
die or not be in the story anymore.
Threaten to abuse his daughter and to tell Kara, you stay here and don't move, as he's pulling off his belt.
As he pulls off his belt, which is, like, at that point I was like, you're not really game, are you? And they never explicitly show him hitting her because that would actually be.
But you can hear her crying.
Yeah,
and you can hear the sounds of what is clearly
the belt.
The belt,
which is even further than I thought they would take it. Honestly.
Yeah. And now again, you can have stories about this. You can have stories with this in it, but it's about how you handle it and how you play it out. And it's of course David Cage is here for the shock.
Yeah, and now we get
the first instance of
breaking coding.
Now, how do you think this would look?
How do you imagine it would look? Don't worry, what you thought of is exactly what it is.
Yeah,
it's them breaking through a wall.
It's them literally breaking through a wall.
I kind of it's like cool in a way because you get to like see them struggle.
It's very kinetic.
Yeah, it's very like cathartic.
Yeah.
Because you see them actually physically breaking the wall.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
But it's cool looking.
My Roomba decided to just, today, I'm just gonna
grab the knife and
I'm gonna grab this knife and kill you.
Yeah.
Because I just broke my programming. How does that happen?
And in a good story, that would get explained.
Or established.
Chobits tried. That was like at the end of Chobits, bless them. So they really didn't really understand what they were doing, but it's okay. Chobits tried.
In most stories, you kind of try to explain this. You establish them. You let them play out. You don't just immediately have this happen.
It's an hour and a half into the game and first programming break.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that would be like a mid-game revelation.
In a better told story, you would have instances where your character is helpless against this, and you have to
break programming.
Yeah, and you have to witness it to later give you the power to break through.
Yeah.
But
again, subtlety is not David Cage's specialty.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't know. It's just like, did Kara break programming before, and that's why she got beat?
And reset, maybe.
But does that mean robots can just do this whenever they want?
I don't know. In a good story, this would all be established to be during the same time. I mean, there's a little time on the bottom left corner, but I can almost never see it.
Yeah.
Mostly because we have stuff in the way, but also because it's small.
Yep.
But in a better told story, they would be like, everybody would be freaking out about androids because we just witnessed the first like android homicide or the first android hostage taking with the demo.
Yeah.
So there would be like this, like, is this the first time this is happening? We would actually know if this was the only incident of this kind. We don't know, so we have no idea if this is actually like things androids do and just happen to have to get reset all the time or what.
Absolutely. And also, since this is not at all related to gun violence, you know that Congress would actually do something about it on the dot.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey. Within 24 hours, androids banned.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. Depending on which route you take, again, I've only seen one playthrough so far. You can either like incapacitate him, escape through the window, escape in some other way, or kill him.
Or just shoot him.
Which Northern Lion did.
Also, the game shows you dropping the gun.
You drop the gun and then you kind of struggle to drop, and then you somehow pick it up and shoot all in the same like frame.
Yeah.
It's very...
No, but after that you drop the gun after you shoot him. She drops it out of disgust. By the way, she's gonna have that gun in her next time we see her.
I literally forgot
Why?
That. Because,
How? Is it like, inconsistent? David Cage doesn't care!
David Cage forgot.
And again, like, if there was an editor, someone who literally goes, David, why is she holding the gun? She threw it away, David. And David's just like, oh no, it's the metaphor, you see.
She did not actually drop gun.
No, it was a metaphorical dropping of the gun.
Fair.
You see, it's a metaphor. You put the gun in your mouth, but you don't... Okay, listen. All right.
So Kara takes Alice and they escape on a bus that they don't pay for.
Yep.
There is no bus driver, and she's in the front of the bus despite being an android.
Yeah.
And there's nobody on the bus, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's in the slums. Because
the buses run 24... The idea that the buses automated would run 24/7 is a joke.
Yeah, no.
In this economy?
In the U.S.?
And now this takes us to Carl's death, because he's a disabled person who's been on the screen for 20 minutes, Kitty.
Time to kill him.
It's time for him to do something useful with himself.
Like die for the progress of our
of one of our main characters.
Yeah.
Yep. So after returning from the party, Carl and Marcus realize that someone's broken in. Marcus, being an android and doing what he's supposed to do, calls the police. And goes, hey, I think there's a break-in. I think there's been a break-in, and they're like, we're sending a car over you guys immediately.
We're taking control of you.
Immediately.
And then Marcus goes to start investigating.
Which seems kind of dumb.
Because he's
considering
concerned about Carl? I don't know. It's not established in the previous scene with Carl and Marcus, but there does seem to be some sort of relationship between them.
Yeah.
But again, it's an android and it's programmed to be like that, maybe. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to tell, like...
I can't believe this android would lead me on. I can't believe this android would be so nice to me.
Right. Like, at first I thought it was something, like, romantic or sexual involved.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like,
probably.
I mean,
You can fuck them.
No, because later, he goes dad. Marcus says dad to Carl.
Yeah, no. What he meant to say was daddy.
Oh God, no! Please don't.
So when they open the doors of the inner painter area, they find Leo,
the son, the druggy son,
all drugged up and literally stealing paintings to make money.
Yeah, because he needs money for drugs.
At which point, we have this weird...
Yeah, Leo starts, like, being really very aggressive towards Marcus, and he's like, you never loved me, you only love this plastic toy. What if I beat this toy up? What if I destroyed your precious toy?
And the toxic male masculinity leveler gets turned all the way to 250%. Mm-hmm. When he's like, come on, fight me back, Marcus, what are you, a pussy?
Yeah, basically.
And I'm like, he's an android. And then, of course...
and Carl
is like, don't fight him.
Don't fight Marcus.
And, of course, once again, check that box off of your bingo table of David Cage wants you to do something in spite of it making no sense.
Yeah.
Carl tells you to not beat Leo up.
Yeah, because Carl is, like, having, like, a kind of
he's having, like, a heart attack, some sort of thing.
I don't know what's happening. He's, like, kind of coughing and, like, having a bad time because he's about to die.
He's having a case of anime mom syndrome.
Yeah.
He's about to die for the development of his child figure.
Yeah.
And I like that NL is like, I'm not fucking touching this guy. Carl said don't touch him. I'm not gonna touch him.
Yeah, but no, the game makes you break programming and like at least like kind of push him a little bit,
which is dumb.
Which I don't think they don't get into a full fist fight.
No.
In NL's, he mostly holds back.
Yeah.
But he's like, I want to rush to Carl's aid, but no, you can't because he's dying.
Also, like, question. This is a role-playing game where you're role-playing as an android. Why is the instinct, well, time to beat his ass up? Like,
he's being a dickhole.
Why is escalating this? What's gonna fix it? What's it gonna fix? Escalating things.
Let's be real though. I know Frash would.
That's fair, but still, like
it depends on the type of person.
But I still feel that like the default is like break programming as opposed to letting you choose to break programming. Yeah, which I'm like, you're an android. You can't die. You are doing your job. It's like, fucking punch me, Leo. I don't care.
Punch my like apparently plastic, but not.
Something they call them plastic, and then they also call them tin cans. Whatever, it's fine.
It's fine.
So Carl has a heart attack or some sort of other thing and dies.
And after Marcus's break programming, he can cry now. I don't know if he could do that before.
Why did you program your robots with the ability to
listen,
cry?
Even in Chobits, this didn't make any sense. Where did tears come from in Chobits? Don't worry about it. It's fine. It was dramatic, but it was anime, so at least it was okay-ish.
How can you cry when you're a robot?
Did they install tear ducts? Now that he's human?
Okay, question. When Marcus was replacing his eye, does that replace his tear ducts too, or like?
I would assume so.
That's stupid. Also, because that implies that there's some sort of water system in him to produce this water like liquid. But like, do you have to refill it? Do you have to drink water?
Is it like a Windex that you put in your car to like spray off the window?
I feel that like again
the
more we like David Cage games, the more you think about them, the more they fall apart, and that's the sign of bad storytelling. Yeah. Because you can tell that no one turned to him and went, David, why is he crying?
You can see the seams and the unfinished hems in the garment, and you can be like, come on, this is just poor construction quality all around.
You know, it's a thing when you're looking at something and you're like, oh, that looks really good, and then you look at it close and you go, wait a minute.
This was all made with like shitty material.
Wait a minute.
In like 2 a day, in like an hour.
David.
This
is all made of cardboard.
Not again, David.
Now,
baby.
You know what happens in all the stories, right? The cops don't show up until whatever bad things happen.
Carl's already died.
So the cops kick open the door, and Leo...
And then it takes a sec to...
Yanto,
baby. Baby.
Carl is dead on the floor. Marcus is crying on top of him.
Standing over him.
And Leo is on the side, and Leo points at the android and says, the android did it.
Yeah.
And the white cop...
immediately shoots the black android. Immediately.
And I almost feel, maybe I'm misremembering, but I almost see him like shrugging, he's like, better shoot him.
No. He just like immediately goes for the gun and shoots him.
Now, for those of you, see, we established this early because we know how to tell stories good. See, in the demo scene, a white android kills 2 cops,
injures
wounds another, holds a hostage, and...
Don't take the shot. Can't take the shot.
Can't take the shot. It's too risky. It's too risky.
A black android is standing over a dead guy, and a white guy who's clearly drugged up and is like over on the side says, the android
There's no signs of violence. The guy could have just passed out.
Yeah.
There's no blood anywhere.
And clearly your black android is upset. He's crying. I don't know if that's normal for androids, or we're just not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about it.
But immediately goes, oh yeah, he did it.
Time to shoot him. I had to do it. I had to do it to him. I had to do it to him, kitty.
I guess so.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Well, once again, at David Cage, this game is not about race, but
it's about family.
It's about... What's that movie?
It's a remake of an old horror movie.
Yeah. It's about family.
Something house.
Fucking haunted house.
It's not.
House on the hill.
No.
House on the broken hill.
No.
It's the house.
No.
The hills have eyes.
No.
Eyes on me.
No.
Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay, listen.
Okay, this takes us to Connor's interrogation sequence,
which is actually kind of cool.
I like until
okay. I like the way.
Oh, this is Connor and the black android who committed the crime in the previous crime scene
with Connor.
The android that made that icon and scribbled "I am alive." And also RA9, RA9, RA9
on the wall. So the scene is actually I thought it was kind of interesting, but I haven't played a lot of like the Batman or LA Noire stuff like that, where you actually have to stress the suspect out in order to get the answers that you're looking for from him, in order to get him to confess or something like that. I actually kind of like that mechanic where you're being overtly aggressive, even though you wouldn't necessarily do that. You're playing the bad cop to get him to talk.
It's a cool concept. It ends up looking a little silly when you're like being mean and then immediately being nice. Like you're the good and the bad cop.
Yeah.
All just to what are you doing? He has his claw on me and he's like, don't move. And he's immediately like it's a little silly.
It's a little silly, but it's a cool concept.
No, it's a cool concept. Unfortunately, this is a David Cage game, which means inconsistencies. Let's just poke. He's poking me with his claws.
Oh, baby, let go, sweetie.
Yeah, until let go.
Can you let go?
Jesus Christ, baby.
Thank you, baby.
Because he wanted to just hold on to my knee, but his paw started sliding, so he's like, time to stab you.
Time to claws.
This is a David Cage game, so time for inconsistencies, okay? They mention that the robot, that the android...
has a memory chip. And then even somebody brings up the question, why are we doing this interrogation? Why don't we just get the memory chip from him?
And they don't answer that question.
No, they don't.
And also
brought up...
we have like a gun-ho kind of younger cop in the room who's like, oh, I can't believe... I can't believe
now he's poking me.
We brought an android to interrogate this other android, and I'm like, that is not nonsensical. That actually makes sense.
It
like,
makes perfect sense.
It
would understand how the programming works in this android.
And it would put the other android at ease too. Like this is actually not stupid at all. Okay, and I mentioned this before. We have this tonal dissonance between what we have been told people believe and what's actually happening, and. People believe androids are objects. They are things. They don't have emotions. They are things you buy and you own.
They don't talk back. They're not supposed to talk back. Not supposed to do anything else.
But they're still treating it like a person by interrogating it?
Yeah.
Why not just plug the micro USB cable and just read its memories?
Also, you may say, oh, but they can't just take the memory chip from him because he'll self-destruct under too much stress. They don't bring that up until later in that scene.
Yeah.
So that's actually not the reason why they don't just take the memory chip. That's just the reason not to be rough with the android, because he might self-destruct under pressure.
Also
why did you program your android to self-destruct under pressure?
Yeah, that's stupid.
Hey, my MacBook, like when it gets too full of memory, I just program it to wipe itself.
It just kills itself.
Yeah, it just offs itself and tells me to buy a new MacBook. It's my way of getting me to upgrade my MacBook every 2 years.
So recycling bin just doesn't empty, just kills data in your hard drive.
It just reformats your hard drive.
Jesus Christ.
I love it when my computer reformats itself when it gets too stressed out.
I really like it when my $2,000 cell phone comes pre-installed with the ability to kill itself.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when my Roomba just drives itself right off the cliff.
It's working, not a bug, it's a feature.
It's a feature.
Working as intended.
Also, the other thing in the scene that is very, alrighty, David.
We have the David Cage swerve.
Introduction of RA9.
And the religious icon that he built that kind of looks like an alien head.
So it's like when Connor tries to question him, he's like, oh, RA9 will save us. You look for RA9. Another guy later goes look for Jericho, I think, but it's fine.
Yeah.
They're two different people, maybe. Where are you going?
Where are you? Oh, he's leaving.
He wants to go behind us.
He wants to go behind us. He wants to be in the room, but... Okay, what if I just...
Here, I'll help. There you go.
There we go.
You just needed a stepping stone.
We work together.
I can feel my legs.
So we're already at robot religion, at robot religious creature beings, maybe a robot god... some sort of acknowledgement of the robot soul.
Or maybe a bigger intelligence out there or something.
Sorry, I just looked over at my little area where I have a bunch of Senora merch, and I'm like, oh yeah, Overwatch does not touch this at all because it requires actually telling a story. Heyo, were you expecting me to remind you that Overwatch has no story? It actually does, and also Senyatta's my boy, and he deserves better. Hashtag Senyatta deserves better. Please sign my change.org petition. Hey there, Michael Chu, acknowledge Senyatta.
That's true.
Anyhow, hi there, I'm mad. Okay. Senyatta's also an android, in case you didn't know.
But anyway, that interrogation scene is interesting. It's cool. Kind of fun,
except for the plot holes. And also, at the end, in spite of you having fixed everything, or depending on how you play it, and Endo played it very well. He fixed the problem.
And talked about the RA9 and whatever that stuff.
The gun-ho police officer comes in, tries to take the
android by force.
The suspect, causing the android to kind of go back into the self-destruction mode.
Oh, now he wants out.
At which point the gung-ho police officer threatens Connor. Pulls a pistol out on Connor.
Oh, right. I totally forgot about this.
Because he's gonna do whatever he wants to do because he's a human and you're a stupid plastic toy.
Go, baby, go. Go.
And I'm like, are you serious with me right now?
Babe, please.
Yanto, please. There you go. He's leaving now. Close the door. It's fine.
Did you want to bring the mousey inside?
He has a little toy mousey. It's not a real mousey.
I'm gonna close the door.
Close the door. It's fine. He'll scratch at it if he wants to be back in.
Yep.
In case you're wondering, we have 2 scenes left, though they're both pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then Hank, the other greasy cop, has to pull out a pistol, and we have the Mexican standoff.
We have a literal Mexican standoff.
Because you shouldn't just pull. You shouldn't pull your gun out on your neighbor's Roomba. I'm just saying.
You also shouldn't force eject your iPod when it comes out. It's basically like doing that to a robot.
Can
I have more water, please?
The problem was solved. You got the information.
Yeah, you don't need to now roughhouse the robot up just to show your dick.
Time to beat him up. Also, I don't know. The fact that the guy who bought that android wanted to have a black man.
And he abused him, by the way.
Oh, but cigarette burns, beating,
kicking, beating,
etc. Weeks upon weeks of beating.
Yeah. And that's why he struck back.
Yeah, and I'm I feel thematically speaking, it would make more sense because, listen, I don't buy the fact that 99% of androids wouldn't be female. They would be female. They would be female androids because the way that toxic male masculinity works.
In America.
But that would require David Cage to have more than one female character in the story.
And listen,
that quota is already met.
We already got 1.5.
No. Alice is the child.
Oh,
with checkbox marked.
It's true. Sorry if I'm kind of far away. I'm leaning
back. Kitty's leaning back. Kitty, but what about Kara and Alice finding shelter?
I'm actually kind of interested in how other people will play this scene because Anna plays it very straight and he even explains his reasoning in the video. He's like he's role playing at that moment. He's like, I've got this kid who's in wet clothing and is clearly not doing well. I'm going to find her shelter immediately.
Oh, by the way, the rain is quite heavy.
It is quite heavy. Which scene had the origami? Oh, it was
in
Carl's house.
Carl, in Carl's house. That was the origami from Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
In this scene, there's apparently 3 different things you can do, but NL chose to stay at the hotel.
Yeah.
In order to stay at the hotel, you have to first put on clothes, because apparently there's no automatic, wait a minute, you're an android, so you can just put on clothes and it's fine.
And cover the blue triangle and your blue head thingy.
Because that's all it takes, right?
Yeah.
There's no metal detectors, there's nothing.
Nah. Just says no androids allowed.
See, we're gonna get all this white powder and we're gonna put it on our faces.
And
it's gonna be fine. No one will know.
But yeah,
and to do that,
seemed very straight, so he...
you need money and clothes.
Yeah, so he...
So you steal the clothes off a black guy!
Yeah, there's a black guy sleeping in the laundromat, waiting for his laundry, and you steal the clothes from the dryer and also on him.
Yeah.
Not the clothes he's wearing, but the clothes that are, on his knee or whatever.
David, couldn't you... the amount of misfortune happening to people of color in this game is, silly.
Yeah. I also like that there's an option in the scene to steal the clothes but not wear them.
Yeah, which is extra fucked up.
It's extra what the fuck?
So, of course, Alice is that's
Don't
bad.
Do that, but... And then I'll just push through. He's like, whatever, Alice, we gotta...
Oh, and if you think that's bad and badly written, wait until you figure out how to get money.
To stay at the hotel for the night.
Yeah, because there is a Quickie Mart at Conveni, which is not being run by an android. It has a real person.
And it's also, late at night, which you would think, nobody would want these shifts anymore. Let's give them to androids. No, it's a real person. So a real black man.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of like an Indian guy, but it's whatever. It's fine. It's
he's of color.
It's a person of color in there. Yeah. Because misfortune is coming his way.
Yeah.
The big crux of it is that you want to steal, but Alice doesn't want you to steal. So of course you use her to cause a distraction.
You can use her to cause a distraction, which NL does.
Which looks so stupid because she knocks over a few cans, and the guy behind the counter walks past you, so you're waiting for him to move.
Yeah.
And then you sneak. You don't sneak. You just walk around. Open the cash register. You press a button and it opens the cash register.
That's not how cash registers work.
You take money, you close it, and then you walk out with the girl, and somehow this is okay.
Yeah, and he only knows this because he didn't close it right.
That's stupid. Like what? Does he have like a peripheral vision of like 15 degrees?
Maybe he's slightly blind. It doesn't forgive it.
So you're saying that we
stole from a person of color and
disabled.
Yeah.
David Cage checking off all those boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the money,
and so you can stay at the hotel.
And you stay at the Heavy Rain Hotel,
which looks too similar, honestly.
Yeah. Also, I love that like at some point someone because you get asked for an ID, and then you're like, I don't have it. And it's like, oh, don't worry about it. Here's your free firearm. But like literally, and someone must have been yelling in the office, what if they ask you for an ID, David? And you're like, just don't worry about it.
It's fine. The kid, she needs a room, you know? So you get the room and you go to sleep.
Yeah, you can choose to... Okay, there's two beds in the room. You can choose to sleep next to Alice in the same bed or a chair. Are you noticing something weird in this choice?
There's two beds. Don't forget.
You can't choose to sleep in your own bed.
No.
Also, robots need to sleep?
Yeah, this brings up the entire question of, like, how do you power this robot? Does it charge while it's sleeping? How does that even fucking work?
Because apparently that one android holed up in an attic for 2 weeks.
Was fine, yeah.
So...
and also Alice has a very not human, this is not how humans kids act, breakdown where she's like, he never loved me, why didn't he ever love me? I just wanted to be a family. It's about family.
You know it's a bad piece of dialogue.
The Haunting Grounds.
Yeah.
That's what
there you go.
From the remake of The Haunting Grounds.
Because it's a circular conversation. She's not talking. She's just saying what David wants her to say.
Yeah, it's like,
and also,
I guess it was
kids
all my
don't
fault.
talk like that.
Yeah, no. They may have these like emotions or feelings, but they can't express them in this eloquent of a way.
Absolutely.
And they wouldn't like tell some random android. I mean, I guess they have a rapport, but still. And then you go to bed.
And this takes us to what may be the stupidest scene. And I'm happy that we watched this last night.
Yeah,
because
we both died.
So we hard cut Marcus. Except that he is missing both legs, and he can't hear, and one of his eyes is missing. He's all damaged. He's like, covered in mud. His clothes are all torn up.
Heart thing is barely working. Like whatever his Iron Man core is malfunctioning.
Is malfunctioning.
And I wish I was joking when I said that, but I'm not.
It's quite literally the Iron Man thing.
And we find him in a base what is essentially a mass grave for robos.
Now you should immediately stop and think, wait a minute, that sounds stupid.
Wait a minute, there's no mass recycling for iPhones.
Wait, these guys cost $8,000 a pop.
8,000 plus
for the starter model. And you're just gonna toss them in a hole in the ground.
Half alive, quotes unquotes. Like, didn't even turn them all off. They're all still mostly working. Like, even the ones that are just legs are still walking somehow.
Also, it's an obscene number of androids.
It's
to the extent that I'm like those are like. It's baffling the idea that you're like refurbish these, sell them off, it's money. It's making how those androids make you more androids. It's money.
And also the fact that they would dump Marcus in there, who the cops thought has committed a crime, and there should therefore be disassembled and figure out what's wrong with it. No, just throw them in the mass graveyard.
It's so stupid. It's actually
it literally
really
makes no sense.
Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention that in the previous scene with Kara, you see a random guy at a bus stop. Which, by the way, I hate this because this is David Cage lying to you. Which, you never. By the way, that's I'm really flexible when it comes to writing. If it works, it works. Listen, but the one sin in writing that it's unforgivable, it's lying to the reader. That I directly telling them something that is not true, just to have it be a plot twist later or a twist. And
this excludes, of course, like unreliable narrator stuff like
that.
Yeah. That's the point.
That's the point of that. That's the point of that.
Yeah.
But because Alice sits at a bus station to force to have this event, where a random android walks up to you and
do you need shelter?
Do you need shelter? And then you just have a voiceless android conversation, which would have been cool to have that earlier in the scene at the pigment store.
But no, and he shows her apparently a place to go.
That's somewhere else, but it's on the other side of town.
And she's closing her eyes, seeing this place, because I guess you have to close your eyes to see this place. She's like, but that's across town, I can't. And she opens her eyes, and he's gone.
He's gone. Now you may be thinking to yourselves, oh, she saw it. I rewinded the tape to see, and Alice acknowledges that the guy is there. She looks up to him. She looks up
at them and sees them doing that interaction with
and she looks at their hands meeting together. But then he's gone, and we never address it ever again.
And he's like, find Jericho.
No, Jericho's later. Jericho.
No, that he's the guy who says Jericho.
Oh, but what about the half-buried Robo in the mass grave?
Oh, maybe that is the one
that's the one that says Jericho.
Oh, okay. I thought he also said it, but maybe I'm crazy.
By the way, Jericho is a biblical thing about slaves.
Of course it is.
Because of course it is. Because of course it is.
Anyway.
Okay, you should probably not be leaning that far
my
back.
Head kind of hurts.
I'm sorry. It's David Cage.
I know.
So in this scene, which by the way, it's a pretty cool scene.
Aesthetically,
it's pretty cool. None of it makes sense. It's nonsensical. It's nonsense. Marcus has to rebuild himself from pieces. So at first you can't walk, so you're crawling around, literally picking through bodies you can't hear. Which, when you finally put the ear thing in and you can hear the rain, pretty cool.
That's a cool little thing. And I like in this scene that you have to look through different parts, because there's obviously been different parts of different models of androids, and you have to find the ones that are compatible with your body.
Which is the most relatable if you've ever owned an android.
Yeah, exactly. Heyo. Or any mobile device, really.
Yeah.
Trying to find the right cable.
Absolutely.
Fucking Apple.
Man, the next set of androids don't come with a headphone jack. Can you believe that?
And I also like... You're not wrong. I also like that in the scene you can't scan your surroundings, because that's a game mechanic that you can scan and see what's interactable. You can't scan until you get the second eye in, because your optics are damaged.
Yeah.
It's a cool little scene. You can also choose to kill an android to get their Iron Man core reactor, which NL did.
Yeah.
I assume you would find one later if you didn't.
You would find one anyway, because of course you would.
Because otherwise you can't function?
And it's one of those, like Soma was all about that, and Soma handled it way better because it was a story about that.
All about that.
So the idea is like a spare or a kill, and it's like, you're just gonna go and kill someone else? Also, like, they're an android?
Yeah. Even though he's like, I don't want to die. And it's like, do you have
I don't want to die either, so...
sorry.
Like, I feel...
we don't know you, so I don't care.
It just comes up. It's there for shock value, and David doesn't stop to ask, well, what does this mean for Marcus as a character?
Yeah.
Also,
nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, and also heterochromia.
Oh, yeah. So
is now in the game because he gets a blue eye.
Someone guessed that on the best friends fucking video, and they didn't believe it, but I can't wait for them to get there because they're gonna fucking go crazy.
Yeah.
Heterochromia is a condition in which your eyes are both different, independent colors, and Marcus ends up with a blue eye.
And his hazily eye.
Yeah, because he's gained the knowledge of the white man. And
then he escapes.
He escapes, and he emerges from the pile of corpses, and he looks at the camera and says, "Oh no!" He takes off the little blue indicator.
He claws it out of his skull, which apparently was that easy.
Because apparently it was that easy.
It was just like a sticker that you put on top of him.
Yeah, Oof, never mind. Because when you steal clothes from a shop, you just take out the little thingy in there, and it's all fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't show badly at all.
No.
There's no proof that it was there at all ever.
No.
And then he looks at the camera and says, "My name is Marcus."
Or I am Marcus.
I am Marcus. And then he
walks towards the camera.
Towards a conveniently placed coat that he just grabs and puts over his shoulder.
And even I was like, that makes no logical sense, but it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool, but it's stupid.
But it was just a coat that was on a post in the ground. And that's how far we've gotten.
about an hour and 38 minutes into the game.
You're not 100% wrong, honestly.
Hey there. You may be thinking to yourselves, wow, you guys sure can talk a lot about a game you didn't play.
Yeah.
And a game you don't own.
Yeah.
But we wanted to get this out of our chest. We're going to do more of this, clearly.
Yeah, because
as more episodes come out.
On our own time.
This game is fucking bad.
It's not
bad.
good.
Like, the game, aesthetically, pretty cool.
Cool.
The idea, pretty cool. I would like to write a story about androids someday.
Some scenes, pretty cool.
But the story is, once again, 100% David Cage, with no care for inconsistencies, for having things make any sort of logical sense. And it's just... it's the sort of thing that just angers me. Because it's the sort of, like, why didn't anyone... Like, this game cost millions of dollars to make. Did no one just go and say, David...
That's not how people talk. That's not how that works.
That's not how that works, David. That just doesn't make sense. Why would they shoot... Like, it feels as though they're like, it would cost too much money to have a whole scene where we have Marcus go through the justice, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we treat
judicial
him...
court, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking just dump him in a mass grave. How did he get there? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry, you'll be at it.
Just think about this cool scene you're gonna get to play through.
Yep.
Find Jericho.
Find
Jericho.
He will lead us to salvation.
Oh my god, I can't.
I'm like actually dying.
Marcus has gained
only partially because of David Cage, but
Marcus has gained the knowledge of the white man. It's not about race.
It's not about family.
This story's about family. I'm fucking dying, and not only because I'm terribly sick.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hey there, everybody. We're Dango Duo. We do anime content, let's play stuff every single day. If you somehow, I hope you had fun playing Stardew Valley, or drawing, or coding, or whatever you do while you watch these podcasts.
Commuting, etc.
Yeah, if you are interested in our Twitters. At Dango Duo for updates, at LadyKittyLynn for Kitty's wonderful shenanigans, and at MistreKirin for me yelling about storytelling.
Fair.
We have an Amazon wishlist in the description down below if you're interested in getting us something. We'll do a video on whatever you send us. And of course, Patreon.com/DangoDuo is the number one place to support us and what we do. By pledging a few dollars of your money, you can get cool perks. Or as many dollars as you would like. You can get cool perks, one of which is to get shout-outs.
Like the following people.
Are we going to get
Amelia.
This right? Angela.
Annie Exoshi.
Erisos.
Leire.
Luna.
And Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't checked the... I hope this are at them. I hope this is it. I hope we're doing it right.
I think we're correct.
I'm dying.
Yeah, I'm like...
this game fucking sucks. It's so bad.
It's not good.
The worst part is that they dumped so much money into this game.
And
someone showed up and did their job for the UI, for the Connor's design outside of the very obvious Nazi fucking concentration camp triangles.
Well, that goes on through all the androids, so it's fine. But yeah,
someone showed up and did their job.
Yeah.
Connor has that one really good line read.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, if you want to watch these Let's Plays that we reference, we're going to leave a link to them in the description down below.
Yep.
The Super Best Friends, also known as The Switcher on YouTube, and of course, Northern Lion, Northern Lino, The Egg. Northern.
Yeah.
And then Champions of Fire Champion.
VGA.
And Video Games Awesome. Yeah, far from subtle.
Yep.
Okay, I'm dying.
Yeah,
Kitty's dying.
I'm super dying.
David Cage is bashing away at the keyboard with his ham hands, and we are out of here.
Let's go do something better, storytelling-wise.
It's about family.
It's about family.